Okay, and welcome back to another episode of Queuing for Steam, the show where I look at Steam's discovery queue and rate the games that pop up on there based on my own preferences and biases. Okay, so let's get started today and see what comes up. Alright, Clicker Heroes. This doesn't look good. Ever wonder what a quadrillion damage per second feels like? Want to know more? Embark on your quest to attain it today. Start out by clicking on the monster to kill them and get their gold. Spend that gold on hiring new heroes and get more damage. The more damage you deal, the more gold you get. So basically it's a hyper stylized cow clicker or cookie clicker, whatever genre you really feel it's called. Yeah, you basically click on the enemy until they die, and then you get gold and stuff like that. I don't even know if the enemy really attacks you when you think back. I mean, would they really? I mean, I have zero interest in it because there's almost no gameplay other than it looks kind of cute, I guess. And yeah, you buy all these other freaking items with the gold you get in the game, but I don't think there's really that much appeal for this. Although it is free to play, so I guess it's worth a try. But other than that, I don't really know what else there is. It might also have. Yeah, I wonder if there is also possibly microtransactions. You can buy more gold for stuff and things. Maybe you might hit a level cap or a cap where you can't get past a certain enemy. They damage you too much if they. I don't know because if they even damage you at all. I don't know. Alright, it's actually reviewed very positively. 92% of the 7,100 reviews or so. That's quite high for a good amount of reviews. Well, people have rated it 92%. Yeah, almost no negative reviews. What was that one? The idle game, supposed to pretty much play itself. Missions online. Practical turns out listen through the way. Yeah, it's a clicker. I don't know. I mean, you can maybe just give it a try because it's free, but otherwise, I can't really recommend it. As such, it's really lame. Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition. Yep, because Fallout 4 is just around the corner, apparently. Prepare for the future, GM, with Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition. They've trademarked the word future. Or was it the phrase that they've prepare for the future is the trademarked phrase by Bethesda? I wonder. That seems really weird. Experienced the most acclaimed game of 2008. Well, that's a couple of years ago. Like never before. Create a character of your choosing and descend into the awe-inspiring post-apocalyptic world where every minute is a fight for survival. Very positive, 8,200 so reviews, 97 or 87%. That's a pretty good review, considering it is actually a pretty good game itself. Though it is more so a shooter with. No, well, it's not exactly. It's a. I'm getting it wrong. Borderlands is a shooter with RPG elements. This is a RPG with shooter-like elements tacked on. Because essentially the first-person view it isn't a very good actual shooter game to some respects. The VAT system does really complement, uh, not complement. Well, maybe it does. It kind of does complement the terrible shooting. Because you can get really better accuracy and stats and stuff if you put it into VATS, and you use VATS mode quite a bit. It is quite a cool game. I mean, some of the DLC is fairly meh, but then you get some that's really interesting. Um, yeah, especially like the Pittsburgh, the Pitts DLC. This is pretty good. And then you have the alien one as well. This world, or no, Mothership Zeta, I believe it was called. Excuse me. But then the base game is quite expensive, and it has a fairly interesting amount of things to do. And so I myself never actually finished the Fallout 3 base game. Like with New Vegas, I've done all of the DLC, but I never sort of bothered or got around to doing the base. DLC, but the base game, because there is a shit ton of things to do in the world in a way. Um, yeah, I also that's an interesting factor. So I'm optimized for Windows 7, and it doesn't have actually a nice integration with Steam as like Skyrim does. There's no because mods are another huge part of it. You can mod this game to hell and back, but of course that does create a little bit of instability with it. It can crash and randomly kick you out and strange things. But of course that's the nature of modding. It does alter the base game and its stability. But I will have say yeah that doesn't it, going back to it doesn't have a nice Steam integration. Like it doesn't have its own workshop that plugs the mods in rather easily. There is Fallout Nexus, which is a big website and has its own downloader and its own mod applier, I guess in the way you could call it. I don't know. It is a good game, but you may need to actually mod it, yeah, especially if you're trying to get it to work with Windows 7. Mm. But it's worth buying, it's worth playing. It's definitely a very much worthwhile game, and I can only recommend it. Especially that all of the DLC and stuff now comes for $20. That's pretty much quite a steal, and especially when it's on sale, which I might do from time to time. It's pretty much I don't know if you already if you don't already own it, then it's worth picking up. I must say, especially to get into Fallout 4. I wonder if New Vegas will pop up. Oh, Dirt Rally. Dirt Rally marks the return of the more authentic and dangerous off-road racing experience. We deliver free new content every month, plus a continuous stream of gameplay improvements. The best thing that's happened to rally games for years, Eurogamer. This used to be a part of what they called the Colin McRae Rally games, but then of course the names, the gentleman to which the games were named after died in a helicopter accident. They kind of stripped out that name now, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, these, well, other than the fact that these are all bull shots, or this possibly being the only one because there's hurt. No, bullshot, possibly hurt. Or maybe it's a HUDless in car view, but it's possibly a bullshot. Yeah, these are all like pre-rendered things, except for the ones that actually do have the small amounts of HUD on them. Although it's another one of those things where it could be a minimalist amount of HUD, but that's definitely a bullshot. That's not even I mean, it's just look how good that dust is. That can't be in game. That's pre-rendered nonsensical bullshit. Bullshot. Excuse me. Rambling on like nonsensical idiot. Although it is 93% of the 2,060 reviews, that's a pretty highly good thing. But then it's a small niche title. That's not a lot of people have bought it or at least reviewed it. And it is one of those things where it's more simulator than it is arcade racer, and you can spin out easily. It's a rally game where a lot of the handling is so weird and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if I can really recommend this. It's $35, even though that's not really, it's kind of cheap for that kind of price. Though it is also early access, so I don't know what the actual game plans are like. So I don't think I can really recommend this one. Okay, Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9 is a 2D side-scrolling game that takes the best elements from 8-bit and 16-bit classics that you know and love and transforms them with modern tech, fresh mechanics, and fan input into something fresh and amazing. Yep, this was a Kickstarter by the creator of the original Mega Man games. It looks pretty cool. It's got like the same side-scrolling elements, but it's got 3D static or 3D models, etc. Just wonder if they've updated it to be like proper, because the one thing I fucking hated about the Mega Man series, not the difficulty, was the inability to just shoot diagonally or shoot upwards. The directly forward is a fucking stupid idea. It's just I mean, why? I mean, yeah, you could say it's all for the what's it now difficulty and stuff, but I just think it's limiting the player. It's hamstringing your character and your player, and it's so fucking stupid to be that unresponsive, and that's just. I mean, if Metal Slug can fucking do it, why can't you? God damn it. Okay, but otherwise, it is a game that still has yet to be released. There's no reviews of it yet. Interesting, there's already DLC and it hasn't come out yet. It's $20, which isn't too bad, but considering I don't even know what the game is actually like yet, whether or not it's worth that is debatable. Gonna have to wait until it's actually released and see what people say about it. It's probably the best option. It is the best option, really, actually. Freestyle 2 Street Basketball. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and MMO basketball style Freestyle 2 prides its unique gameplay and graphic singular. That's a weird way of talking. Players are set up into a street style league and allowed to use freestyle moves. Players are focused on a single character with the position of their choice, team up with the best street ballers, and build up teamwork. Okay, that kind of makes sense, but it's still weirdly phrased. Mostly positive, 74% of the 2,200 or so reviews. I'm not really into sports. I'm about to say anime. No, I'm wrong. Sports games at all. Even basketball is meh at best to me. It's got an interesting thing where you could dress up your character silly, and I guess it's a 3v3 players, and you each take on the role of an individual player, and you run around doing stupid nonsense. Well, it is also free to play there. And there's just one DLC of the outfit. Whoop-de-doo. It's hugely overpriced, I would say, probably. One package. No, it's actually 4 items, but even if it completely becomes like just one thing, I don't think so. That's way overpriced. And although it is free to play, I guess it's worth a try. But like I said, I have no interest in sports games whatsoever. And boring and too complicated. Like game. Okay, that's another thing about MMOs. If you're not in a good area, or if there aren't servers in your area, or nationality, etc., it's not worth playing an MMO. So, not interested. Magicka 2. The world's most relevant co-op action adventure returns in the next chapter of Magicka. Players ascend from the ruins of Aldraheim to experience a Midgard almost wiped free of wizards after the Wizard Wars, with the few who had to remain having either gone mad or extremely hostile toward all rest of the sentence, I guess. They've become so hostile they can't carry on the rest of the explanation. It's mixed reviews, but it is a measly 1,123 reviews at the moment. It is fairly new. It's just under a couple of weeks old, and there's not a lot of people who bought it. I guess the original didn't garner enough of a following to actually really boost the sales for the second one. And I'm not entirely sure if the second one really needed to exist in multi-banner, in fact. Especially that it's not by the original team of Arrowhead Studios, it's by someone else. They are Pieces Interactive, I don't know who the fuck they are. Oh, and there's a deluxe version. Okay, the base game itself, $15, isn't too much of a price tag. But then you get the deluxe, which is $25, and for that, it really looks like you're just getting a digital map of the game, which is magical soundtrack, essentially, and 2 robe sets, which are essentially just a whoop-de-doo. It has been recently patched, but I don't know. I mean, the original still holds up. It's still a fun game. And this just looks like it's a general graphical overhaul, which meh. And then if you want to play some multiplayer, there's Wizard Wars, which is more of a MOBA-esque style of multiplayer, which, yeah, like I said, it's funny you mentioned right there. Ties into the actual overall world's storyline, but that storyline is not really very unique or really groundbreaking because it's just basically a comedy sketch. I don't know if I can really recommend Magicka 2 over Magicka 1. One is just so sort of semi groundbreaking in a way, and it was such a really crazy fun multiplayer experience. I don't really know, yeah, Magicka 2, no. Just I mean, if Magicka 1 and all its DLCs go on sale, probably get that over this. Can't say I'm really that interested at the moment. Can't really recommend it. And Assassin's Creed 3, a game I have and have no, a game I do not have. I have 4, excuse me. 3 is the American colonies. 1775, as a Native American assassin fights to protect his land and people, he will ignite the flames of the young nation's revolution. I've heard this isn't a very good game for the Assassin's Creed franchise. And yeah, 76 mostly positive of the 6,150 reviews is not really indicative of a very good game. It's mediocre at best, basically just being the same thing as Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, somewhat. I've heard there is a small amount of naval conflict and naval engagement in the game, but it's nothing on the level of what Assassin's Creed 4 does. And essentially, I'd say probably buy that game or Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and etc. Those are also highly regarded. This one is not, however, and there's a ton of DLC for it. It is on sale at the moment, though it usually goes for $40, which is it's stepped down from what it used to be, but it's still. And there's also a deluxe edition, which just contains some of the DLC. That I don't know if it really contains the season pass type of stuff. It might, but okay, maybe if you want to get the DLC for cheaper, go for a deluxe version. I don't know. I think I'd rather play 4 than 3. Final Fantasy. Go to Roman numerals. 10, 4, 5. Okay, 14. Realm Reborn is the MMO game. No, the second MMO game, and it's even a rehashed version of that second MMO. Final Fantasy 14 about Realm Reborn is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game MMORPG. Yeah, you don't need to read it. You're doubling up on your freaking phrase there, and you're wasting space because it doesn't even finish the damn description. For Windows, PlayStation. You don't even need to mention the PlayStation and PlayStation 4 if it's on if you're fucking selling it on the goddamn PC. It's a Steam, you know. That invites you to explore the realm of Eorza with friends around the world for a party and adventure with the multiple players from the rest of the sentence. Missing, thank you, because you wasted fucking space by unnecessarily mentioning platforms I'm not even going to fucking look at because I'm on a PC. Yeah. Nice bunch of bullshots, pre-rendered or rendered in-game things that, yeah, look at that. It's a wallpaper. It's a fucking wallpaper there. Although, yeah, saying that, no, it isn't even a free-to-play. Although it is a once-off payment, I think. No, it's actually the usual subscription-based bullshit. I don't subscribe to anything, any games that have subscriptions. No, thank you. Immediately, no. I'm not interested whatsoever. If you're free to play, yes, I will possibly take a look at you, but subscriptions, nope. Black Mesa. Run, think, shoot, source. Revisit Half-Life in this highly acclaimed and reimagined Valve created on Valve. What? Highly acclaimed reimagining. Oh, created on Valve's Source engine. Yeah, overwhelmingly positive. It is 96% of the 1,472 reviews. I essentially actually went back and I actually played this when it was a free mod, and I must say it is kind of chalk and cheese looking at the original Half-Life and I'm playing this. It is generously some generous eye candy, I must say, for the original Half-Life 1 campaign. Yeah, I mean, that expanse is it's quite beautiful to actually look at compared to the original games. And it's just, yeah, the amount of extra detail and doodads and gubbins and everything that just they make the environment so lush and beautiful looking, and it really actually kind of rivals Half-Life 2's overall aesthetic, I would say. On the Ghost Gun there, it's so highly detailed. And this version, which although it is, yeah, you have to pay for it, it is tooled up even more and even more of a glossy, like luscious looking landscapes, etc., than the free mod. And this includes a multiplayer extension, which is something that was quite fun back in the day when Half-Life 1 originally launched. And then there was the Quake-esque styled Half-Life Deathmatch standalone game, which, yeah, was kind of fun and interesting, but it generally, you should really, yeah, the Half-Life 2 was the fun multiplayer. Or Half-Life 1, excuse me, I keep saying 2, it's 1. Um, I would actually recommend it though. $20 and it's only early access. And the early access basically is just covering tweaking and expansion for the deathmatch component. I think the single player is pretty much done, except for Zen, which is still missing. But even then, in the original Half-Life, Zen was the worst part of the game because of its strange. I've got to do lots of first-person puzzle platforming, and that was awful. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely recommend it. It's like what a lot of people are saying. It's worth it, but maybe not at that price unless you're really willing to jump in and actually give proper feedback to multiplayer and single player and etc. But if you're just buying it for multiplayer, I'd probably wait till maybe it becomes less expensive. Maybe goes on sale for even cheaper, maybe 15 or less. Although the possibility of the actual multiplayer scene dying down after it gets launched is it's a bit tenuous, I must say. Yeah, because the Half-Life 1's multiplayer scene is basically dead. There's a lot of multiplayer games that are dead now, or multiplayer components of games that are dead. Um, I can't really recommend. I mean, I would recommend it, but mm, maybe jump on, maybe for them, if you really want to risk it, jump onto the multiplayer. But okay, rescue 2 everyday heroes. Alright. How many lives will you save? Experience your city through the eyes of a lifesaver and find out what it means to be a genuine everyday hero. Keep track of several fire stations, a variety of vehicles, a wide range of equipment, and specialized staff, so you're always prepared for anything. Mixed. Yeah, 61% of 13 reviews. Okay, it is very, very new, but that's not a good sign. If the first couple and these screenshots look. I remember playing a really old game called Emergency that was essentially a isometric though 2D, but it was rendered 3D assets. Player made it to 2D. That it was kind of a fun thing, but I'm not sure about these strategy simulators, uh, especially like emergency crews and stuff like that. It might be interesting to know as like a time trial based like things because that's what it usually comes down to. Though yeah, like repeating the same thing over and over again, you'll eventually work out a system of oh, you've got to put up the fire and then send ambulances, etc. Get paramedics there, pull people out. And if you don't do it quick enough, people die. Blah blah blah. So I'm not too sure about that. It is on sale, a launch sale, yeah, special version until the 10th of June, but usually it being $25, I'm not even sure if there's much longevity or differential, differentiable gameplay in this. I mean, it's probably will be the similar thing of rinse repeat, same kind of thing over and over that gets quite boring and repetitive. I don't really think I can recommend it all that much. Maybe if it ever pops up on sale for, like I've said, 15 or less, or yeah, it's in its teens, single figures possibly, but I don't know. Okay, Fruit of Grisaia. 6 fruits bear their fangs at the world. No, fruits don't have fangs. The vegetable, they're vegetation. Vegetation don't have mouths and fangs, so that's quite inaccurate. Okay, the academy was their orchard in this place of learning, protected by high walls from the outside world. There arrived a single young man who lost his purpose in life. He lost sight of what he wanted to protect. Yes, very non-descriptive. It's, as I can see, a dating sim, or no, in fact, that's actually wrong. Visual novel. Dating sims have stuff like stats you have to build up and raise, and days you plan out, etc. This one just looks like, yes, the usual visual novel, the choose your own adventure between one or two different choices that alter the overall overall storyline, but as to what happens that he points a gun at a girl lying on the ground and then apprehends someone. So I guess he's maybe a vigilante kind of thing, because it looks like, yeah, if he's from an academy, he's definitely a cop. So yeah, it's a bit of a vigilante, whatever. Just assuming from freaking screenshots. Very positive. 98 of the measly 62 reviews, and it's been out for a week or so. So, but it is kind of a niche title. Lots of, yeah, adventure games. Yeah, it's actually a visual novel, or rather niche titles. So I don't know if it's really. I assume also there's actual dialogue. You can mute the dialogue. It's probably voiceover for it, but sometimes the Western voiceovers for anime and stuff can be so annoying. And maybe you're best listening to the original Japanese, of which there is lucky enough text you can read, which is indicative of the visual novel genre. But I don't know a lot about this one. Maybe there wasn't really a lot of draw to it. Not interested. Also, it is on sale for promotion amazing amount of time, but $40 for a visual novel? I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think there's possibly better out there too. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. This is DLC, isn't it? Brings the franchise new renowned obscurity. Gripping gameplay in a new level. Join the dark journey. Experience overwhelming and encounters. Dialogue that has an unrelenting challenge. Very positive. 83% of 2,800 reviews. Wow, looks like Blighttown. I wonder if you actually do probably revisit certain areas. Then maybe is that what this is doing? I will also state, because I previously looked at other Dark Souls games, bullshots abound. I know nearly nothing about Dark Souls games. Essentially, I am actually just watching a playthrough of the original Dark Souls by a YouTuber, and I have no interest in actually play them because they have a terrible fucking control system. And it's not that it's hard, it's just I can't fucking control the character how I want to, and that's bullshit. That's half of the fucking difficulty is fighting and controlling your character properly. And guess what? I'm not gonna fucking play a game that's like that. Yeah. I don't know. I thought this was actually DLC. Unless no, okay, it's okay. So it is $50, and I guess it is a standalone expansion in a way, unless it includes the original version, and this is just like an upgraded game. Because you can actually buy an upgrade to upgrade Dark Souls to the base game to the Scholar First Sin edition, which itself maybe is like cheaper, but unless unless Scholar the First Sin includes its Dark Souls, it's 64-bit updated graphics. You're looking at 30-bit bundle, Dark Souls, and its DLC. Oh, okay, so this is like a HD version of Dark Souls 2, which is fucking stupid because it's not even that new. Me, I yeah, I've already made my opinion clear. I'm not interested in this. And unless it comes on the sale and you're a big fan of the Dark Souls series and hard to play games, I'm not interested whatsoever. Finish! And that is it for the Discovery Queue today. Hopefully I'll try and get another one out quite soon, along with other gameplay, which I promised. I'll try and move my ass in doing that, though it may take a while, so be prepared. Okay, bye!